what do you think about Eyes Wide Shut and the kind of conspiracy that I mean, factually, he died like a week before the movie was released, and so there's this whole conspiracy that he rejected these changes that the studio wanted to make to the movie. They wanted to take out a bunch of stuff, and he was like, no, this is my movie, we're going to leave it all in. And he basically was fighting them on the changes, and then coincidentally he passes away, and then they're able to make the changes to the movie and then release it. So a lot of people are like, they got rid of him so he wouldn't expose what's going on.
Well, I did a little bit of research on this, and Jan Harlan, his brother-in-law, and his wife Christiane, actually, if you could call it, cleared it up, right? Because we will never know the full truth, right? But they confirmed that he okayed the final cut that you see that Warner Brothers released, and that he had failing health, right? I mean, if you look at his like documentaries, photographs of him, I think you can kind of what's the word, not like decipher or discern, but he was a smoker, right? He was a smoker, and I think he was like he died of a heart attack in his sleep.
Oh.
And he was, as his family was saying, overworked. And he was, always heavily involved and heavily, like, passionately immersed in his projects, like, to the most meticulous level. I'm sure you've everyone's heard of the 127 takes. And imagine doing that at age 70 or 69.
Oh, yeah.
Doing Eyes Wide Shut. And it was like, I think it had the longest continuous shoot, record for the longest continuous shoot, and Guinness World Records, like it went into the Guinness World Records book.
Wow, I didn't know that. For like, you mean like one shooting day, or like one scene, or like what do you mean, like the movie?
The whole movie, right?
Oh.
Sorry for bad articulation. Yeah, the longest shoot, I think it was like 2 years or 3 years, something like that.
Oh, dang!
I might be wrong.
I didn't know that.
I might be wrong, but yeah, it's got the longest. Jamie, can you pull it up? Okay. Yeah.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Gamba, can you pull that up over
there?
The Yo Mama said, "This is the Yo Mama House studio right now."
Yeah.
That movie though, Eyes Wide Shut. I remember seeing it as a kid. I didn't really, know what to kind of think about. I just thought like, oh yeah, he's stumbling upon a secret society sort of thing. But there's a lot of...
What do you think about it?
There's a lot of kind of underlying stuff that they hint towards other things that, like at the very end, where they're at the toy store. It's Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman with their child, and they're walking through the toy store. And then all of a sudden, these two guys in suits walk off with their daughter. And Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman are still walking away, and the daughter's gone. And then that's the end of the movie. So that leads a lot of people to believe that Tom Cruise got involved with the secret society with the understanding that he would give up his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Because like when he goes to that costume shop to look for a mask.
Yeah, it's the Christmas, what's the paraphernalia? Like it's like a toy store. Yeah.
And when he goes in there, there's that young girl who, she's a famous actress now.
Lily Sobieski.
Yo, dang, man. Yeah. I would never remember that name. but yeah, so she was obviously supposed to be underage, and she's like hitting on Tom Cruise, and then like the store owner comes out and he's like, "Oh no, like you he's not for you," or something like that. But it's like insinuating like there's this underbelly secret society with the underage girls and this going on, and he gets involved, and he's useful. Tom Cruise is useful because he's a doctor, and there's that scene where he gets called to that hotel room or the penthouse because that girl has an overdose. Yeah. And they know Tom Cruise will, keep his mouth shut. Right. His eyes wide, but his mouth is shut. Right. the whole theme, right, is these people,
Secrets.
like it's known, but people don't talk about it, right? So that's something I didn't figure out till later, that Tom Cruise was like involved, but they don't really say it explicitly. Even the scene where they're at like this fancy party and Nicole Kidman's dancing with some like old man. It's like they're swinging, they're like subtly swingers, and like everyone's like trying to bang everybody, and like and it's that understanding that you know, we're gonna go after your wife, we're gonna go after your daughter, and if you want to be in this club, you got to let us do it. So and it's not really said in the movie, which is what makes people believe that, you know, they took a lot of things out, and or we're actually what I mean by that, taking it out, is that if you read the script, there's a narrator throughout the whole movie who's, you know, giving exposition for certain things, but the final cut doesn't have the narrator at all. So when you read the script, people are like, yeah, this narrator is important to like tell us, you know, what's going on and who's involved and the intentions behind certain things, but the narrator was taken out. So that's why people are like, oh, you know, he wanted to leave it in and the studio took it out, and he didn't, blah, blah, blah. They had a little fight and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that about his brother.
I didn't hear about that, about a narrator being a part of the plan. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Okay.
I had seen like some video on it, you know, someone breaking down the movie, and they had like a copy of the script, or I guess you can find it online, and yeah, there's a narrator like explaining things, and it's like, yeah, why is the narrator not in the final movie, you know?
Well, it you know, is believable because Stanley Kubrick was known to use narration a lot in his movies to, you know, set up exposition and get it out of the way so that the most interesting dramatic bits could, you know, be the focus of the movie at every moment. You know, like Barry Lyndon, like for example, uses a narrator in the third person. Whereas in the book, Redmond Barry, that the protagonist, played by Ryan O'Neal, is the narrator, right? Which would kind of be like a remake, a spiritual remake of Clockwork Orange, because in that film the narrator is the protagonist. And you know what? In a way, Barry Lyndon is kind of a tangent. Barry Lyndon is kind of like a spiritual remake of Clockwork Orange, because at the beginning of the film, the main character has the most control he'll have for the rest of the film of his life, like agency. He can choose to do what he wants when he wants. He falls in love, and he knows that he has to kill in a duel a British officer to get the girl that he wants, right? Because they're fighting for this girl. And when he does that, right, he's messing with the law, right? And so now he has to run away from home and, you know, flee the authorities, and he becomes somebody else. He starts to lie, to cheat, to steal, to survive, impersonating British officers, impersonating people of high society. And in Clockwork Orange, right, Alex has to learn to behave, right, to get the things that he wants. When he's in prison, right, he has to say the right things to the prison chaplain, right, to the prison guards, to the prime minister, right, and he wants to reform, but that's BS. You know, he says those things just so he can gain back the life that he had before he went into prison, and that's what he gets, right? And there's kind of like a debate whether or not he actually, like, whether the treatment actually like worked, because, like, you know, when he's in Patrick McGee's house, the guy in the wheelchair, and then he gets in the bathtub, he starts singing in the rain, right? And he starts going, ta, ta. So he's reliving a violent moment, right? And you're supposed and you're thinking, well, isn't he supposed to be like what's the word? Feeling sick? Because remember, he always says, right. I feel sick. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I just want to snuff it. And it's like, well, how come when you're, you know, singing in the rain, in the shower, in the bathtub, you're like singing, I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above, and then to me it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, so there could be a degree of him faking it, you know, to try to get the things that he wanted. But where the real debate comes in is like, did he really try to kill himself? Did he know he was going to survive the fall? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess like on a tangent, like I think Barry Lyndon and Clockwork Orange are kind of, you know, like very similar in that regard. And the use of classical music as well.
It's interesting. The characters, the protagonists that Stanley Kubrick chooses are like these complex, broken, you know, violent characters that are up to no good, and you know, but they're likable. you make some likable, you know, like Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange, like the worst human being possible.
Yeah.
You know, raping and killing and robbing and well, does he kill?
Yes, he does.
He kills
the
that
old lady,
the yoga lady, right?
Yeah, the cat lady. Yeah, yeah. Yoga lady. Yeah, she
yoga cat lady with the giant dick.
Giant dick.
But they end up being likable, you know. So it's interesting that he chooses characters like that as a protagonist.
Yeah. I when I see Clockwork Orange and the way it begins, it's like an LP. Everything up until he returns home after that night of just mayhem is like listening to the first maybe 2 or 3 tracks of Dark Side, right? You know, and then there's like cool down period.
Yeah.
You know. And I don't know. I've always kind of seen that film again like an LP. And what's interesting is that Kubrick kind of structured it like what's it called, sonata form, which is a form of classical music. And I think the novel Clockwork Orange is also structured in supposedly sonata form. I haven't read it in a long time, and so it has like these 3 acts, you know, that are structured like music, not just like beginning, middle, and end, but like in a musical fashion.